Welcome to Psych with Sigmund, where we delve into the fascinating lives and contributions of influential figures in psychology. Today, we're going to explore the life and work of Hans Eysenck, a pioneering psychologist who left an indelible mark on our understanding of personality, intelligence, and behavior. Born on March 4, 1916, in Berlin, Germany, Hans Eysenck grew up in a creative family. His mother was a film star, and his father was an actor and a theater director. This artistic background likely influenced Eysenck's curious and imaginative nature, which would later serve him well in his psychological endeavors. As a young man, Eysenck was drawn to the field of psychology, particularly the works of Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung. However, he soon became disillusioned with the lack of empirical rigor in psychoanalytic theory and sought a more scientific approach to understanding human behavior. Eysenck's educational journey took him to the University of London, where he earned his PhD in psychology under the supervision of Sir Cyril Burt, a renowned psychologist and statistician. This mentorship had a profound impact on Eysenck's development as a researcher, as Burt instilled in him a strong emphasis on empirical research and statistical analysis. During his time at university, Eysenck became fascinated with the concept of personality and its relationship to behavior. He was particularly interested in the idea that personality traits could be measured and predicted using statistical models. One of Eysenck's most significant contributions to psychology is his theory of personality, which posits that individual differences in personality can be captured by three broad dimensions: extroversion, neuroticism, and psychoticism. According to Eysenck, these dimensions are relatively stable across time and situations, and they influence a wide range of behaviors, from social interactions to emotional regulation. To illustrate this theory, let's consider an example. Imagine you're at a party, and you notice that some people are naturally more outgoing and sociable, while others tend to be more reserved and introverted. Eysenck would argue that these differences in behavior are reflections of underlying personality traits, such as extroversion and introversion. Eysenck's work on intelligence is also noteworthy. He was a strong advocate for the idea that intelligence is a complex trait that cannot be reduced to a single factor or score. Instead, he argued that intelligence comprises multiple components, including verbal comprehension, spatial ability, and working memory. This perspective has had a lasting impact on the field of intelligence research, as it highlights the importance of considering individual differences in cognitive abilities. Throughout his career, Eysenck was known for his provocative and sometimes controversial ideas. He was a vocal critic of psychoanalysis and other forms of therapy that he deemed to be lacking in empirical support. At the same time, he was a strong advocate for the use of behavioral therapies, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, which have since become widely accepted as effective treatments for a range of mental health conditions. Despite his many contributions to psychology, Eysenck's work has not been without criticism. Some researchers have argued that his theories of personality and intelligence are overly simplistic or lack empirical support. Others have criticized his views on the role of genetics in shaping behavior, which some have interpreted as being overly deterministic. However, it's essential to consider these criticisms within the historical context of Eysenck's work. During his time, the field of psychology was still in its early stages, and many of the research methods and statistical techniques that we take for granted today were not yet available. So, how can we apply Eysenck's ideas to our everyday lives? Understanding personality traits and individual differences in intelligence can help us navigate our relationships and interactions with others more effectively. By recognizing our own strengths and weaknesses, we can develop strategies to improve our communication skills, build stronger relationships, and even enhance our mental health. For instance, if you're an introverted person who tends to feel overwhelmed in social situations, you may need to take extra steps to manage your stress levels and anxiety. This could involve setting boundaries with others, taking regular breaks, or engaging in relaxation techniques such as meditation or deep breathing. As we conclude our exploration of Hans Eysenck's life and work, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking insight. Eysenck's emphasis on individual differences and the role of genetics in shaping behavior reminds us that each person is unique, with their own distinct strengths and challenges. By embracing this diversity, we can foster a more compassionate and inclusive understanding of human psychology. That's all for today's Psych with Sigmund. If you enjoyed learning about Hans Eysenck, make sure to like, share, and subscribe.